Hello.
Well, good afternoon. Good evening. It's evening, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I got it.
Welcome to Becoming One Flesh.
Welcome.
We are excited about having you all tonight. We are talking about do you have walls up? So
Yeah.
we're going to do a quick intro and then we're going to get started.
Amen.
All right.
Well,
So
hey.
if you have, if you are in a marriage or you in a relationship, and if you have had issues of trust, there are times when you can have walls up and not even really realize it. Okay. And so this is something that I believe both of us can attest to that we had probably in our relationship because maybe because of past hurt, past issues, and we weren't able to really uh, be honest and open with each other the way we needed to be. Because sometimes when you are, everybody don't receive it.
Yeah, you get crossed.
You
Yeah.
get crossed or whatever, and so you
yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to protect myself. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say that. But in the end, it ends up causing a lot of hurt and pain. And so we want to talk about that tonight. That those are some things that can cause us to have walls up with our spouses, walls up in our relationships, walls up in different areas of our lives. But it could be a hindrance to what it is to us getting to trust each other more, for us getting to love each other more. It can be a big hindrance in our relationships. So we have to realize that we have to be open and be willing to be open and honest with one another so that we can learn to open up and trust each other. Because if we can't trust each other with our feelings, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
It's really a problem. If we got to tiptoe around our spouses and, well, I can't say that because she'll get mad, or I can't say this because he'll get mad. If it's how you feel, you should be able to talk to them and tell them how you feel. Because that's not being accusatory or anything, but you're letting them know this is how I feel. This is hurting me. This is something that we need to work on. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But so often we want to save face. We don't want to rock the boat, so to speak, but then we're living in misery. And so it's not benefiting us, and they're not being benefited, because how can somebody change if they don't know what they're doing wrong? How can I change if you don't tell me that I'm doing something that you don't like? How can I change it if I don't know about it? So how can it's not fair for us to expect change, but we don't want to be honest enough to tell them what the problem is.
Okay.
So therefore you're mad or you're upset, but then you haven't been honest enough to tell them, babe, this is something we need to talk about. I want to talk about this and that, and this is how I feel about that, and I want to share my feelings with you. We should be able to be open and honest enough to do that.
I remember the other morning, right? I was just thinking about when you was talking. No, it ain't nothing bad. Ain't nothing bad, baby. I mean, because you normally get up 4 o'clock every morning to get up and pray, go in your prayer closet, and just do what you do. That you had your time before the Lord.
Tell it.
Well, I'm gonna tell it because it went on what you just not said, and I thought about that. The alarm went off at 4, and I think you were still asleep somewhat, halfway between sleep. And I said, baby, the alarm going off. He said, okay, Joe, I got it. And I was kind of taken aback for a minute. But once you got up and prayed, and we sat down at the table, because we always sit down at the table in the morning and have a cup of coffee and do all this other stuff. I said, baby, I'm mad at you. I got a beef with you. And when I told you, you was like, oh, forgive me, Joe. That meant so much, even though I had already forgiven you, and even though that didn't mean anything, just for you saying that. And it goes back to what you were talking about just now. If we can't be open and honest, about it's the small foxes that spoil the vine. I mean, it's not the big things. And a lot of times we have a tendency of skipping over the small things and looking towards the big things. And it's the small things that lead to big things. And even with me, you tell me, and I have to tell her myself. A lot of time I play with my wife. I rub on her, I do all this stuff, and she's like, "Come on, man, with that foolishness." But I understand that right at the particular time, it's the wrong time. But you're open and honest enough with me to say, well, okay, man, it's not that you don't love me. It's not that you don't care. It's not that you don't appreciate me touching you. It's just at the time you don't desire that. But you're open and honest with me and say, what, yo, man, come on with that, man. And I got to respect that. And I mean, I'm just being honest. And in my respect of that, it allows us to continue to grow. It allows us to continue. Will you laugh? She laughed.
Because y'all, he still do it anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Joseph like to push buttons.
Don't say that.
Joseph is a button pusher.
Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Why you talk about your husband like that? Don't do that. Don't do that. But one thing.
Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, sometimes. Hey, but this is the thing. There aren't any walls between us. At one particular time, I didn't tell her everything, and she was kind of like, okay, all right. There was walls. But once the walls got broken down, we were able to live our lives and trust each other and talk about anything, and regardless of what, whether you liked it or not, whether I liked it or not, we were still able to talk about it. And I remember one day we was fasting. And I think you said, man, I got to get me something to eat. Mm-hmm. And you said, well, I don't know if I should tell him. I don't know. But you chose to say, look here, man, yo, I had to get me something to eat. You had the opportunity not to tell me, but what you said to me meant so much to me, baby. And I'm saying this now. Maybe I didn't say this before, that you were able to say, you know what, man, look, I'm not going to hide anything from him, because I can hide the little things, then it becomes manifested in some other areas. I'll hide other things, and that's the thing, because that wall was torn down, but a lot of times in our marriages and in our relationships, we have walls built up.
We do, and we don't realize we do. And as I said, it can stem from a lot of things. And mine was, being betrayed, being let down, being, I guess getting the short end of the stick sometimes. And sometimes when you go through that, you tend to put those walls up, whether you do or not. You'll put them up because you always try to guard yourself, make sure that you don't do too much of this or do too much of that, because just in case it don't. It's like you go into it with doubt and fear and unbelief.
Self-protection.
Yeah, you go into it with that, and you try to make stuff happen or don't happen yourself. You try to control everything, basically. It's really about control, because you don't want things to go left. But the thing is, we can't control things going left. Things are going to happen in our relationships that we may not want to happen. They're going to happen. But it's about us being able to get past it and to get through it, because that's really what matters. And, and we can block ourselves off, concerning our emotions and all of that. We can block those things, and we can withhold those things from each other when we know that's what one another needs. And so, as we said, it's best to go ahead and be honest from the get-go and just tell them how you feel, and just say, listen, I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about that. And that's something I want us to work on. You should be able to come and say that, because you are the ones that's in control of your relationship. We like to put everything on God, but God gonna do this. But listen,
Lord gonna fix
you have to be willing to put in the work, though. Will He bless you and help you and lead you and guide you? Yes, He can.
Yeah.
But you're the ones that's gonna have to put in the work, and you're the ones that gonna have to be open and honest about where you are and what's going on in your life, and so that you can be able to talk about it and work it out and do what needs to be done. And like you said, if we keep the little things from each other, then you can best believe when the big things come, we ain't gonna have nothing to say.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
And then when it ends up coming out, then we backpedaling trying to lie and trying to figure stuff out.
Mind
Like,
looking
well,
crazy, yeah.
they're like, well, I should have, could have, would have, but then it's too late. And see, then that's another thing that causes distrust, you know. And so these are just some things that we wanted to kind of mention. Because we ain't gonna be on here forever.
Yeah.
We just wanted to come and really share some of that. That it's time for us to be honest about our relationships, be honest about where we are, how we feel, what's going on with us, so that we won't try to wall ourselves up or protect ourselves or put up this guard to where we feel that we have to protect ourselves and we can't rely on each other to protect one another.
That's good, there, babe. That's good. You know, just thinking about that, when we build those walls, that's when infidelity comes too now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we have a tendency, not we, I'm just saying, as married couples have a tendency sometimes to, because they hide little things,
Mm-hmm.
then they can hide other things. And because they have a wall up against their spouse, then they can find other people in other situations, to whereas they can hide behind the wall, you know.
Yep.
And those things happen. And when they happen, then what goes on is now I'm lying to you. Well, baby, I gotta this weekend, I got to go so and so and so and so and so. Are you lying to me? Well, baby, I got to go get this here done. I'll be back in a couple of hours, because you have built the wall of deception.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's another thing, and a lot of times we have a tendency to do those things because we allow the small things to build into a big thing, and when we let that happen, then the wall that's built, we add bricks to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
We we add it, we add it, and we add it, and before you know it, I can't see you, and you can't see me either.
Yeah.
You know, we might live in the same house, sleep in the same bed, eat from the same table, but because the wall is there that has been built, then what happens is that we no longer see each other. We just see the figment of our own imaginations concerning each other, and we don't see each other from a place of trust, a place of devotion, a place of obedience. I mean, those places that are needed in the marriage. I always think back to excuse me, Prophet Miranda, when she says this here. She said, pillow talk. You know, and we don't do that anymore, because we have built the wall to the point to where, hey, I'm just jumping in the bed, you jumping in the bed, we going to sleep, we watching this and that, we going on, and there is no intimacy in our conversation. It doesn't have to necessarily mean sex, but there's no intimacy in our conversations because we don't trust each other because of the wall that we have built.
And then she said, when it comes to pillow talk, we ain't talking about no bills either.
Remember, we ain't talking about no bills.
She said that the other night.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
She said with pillow talk, you ain't on it. Be not pillow talking to talk about bills and the kids and what's going on with plumbing and none of that. It's about you as individuals talking about things maybe in your day, things that's on your mind. Yeah. You're actually having one-on-one intimate conversation concerning your marriage, your relationship, things like that. It's not based on everything else, because those conversations with finances, all that, you can have that all throughout the day. Yeah. You ain't got to wait till you get in bed to do that. But then some people do that because that's the only time they get undivided attention.
And because of the wall.
Because of the wall. They do that because they don't get no attention no other day throughout the day. So that's the only time they can say what they want to say, because at least the spouse laying still enough to listen. And that's sad. Yeah, that is so sad that we're just existing in our marriages and we're not enjoying our marriages. God didn't design it for it to be this way. But it's up to us to, like I said, we have to be willing to tell the truth to one another, being able to tell the truth, whether they get upset or not. We still have to tell the truth, because it's not fair to just be living and just existing when you could be enjoying your marriage, when God ordained it for you to enjoy it. He didn't put you together for you to be miserable. He didn't put you together for you to suffer for the sake of the Lord. He didn't put you together for that. Right. But he put you together for you to be able to enjoy companionship, growing, and learning with each other. That's the purpose of us, you know, having a marriage and having him at the forefront of it, is because we are able to come together and we are able to enjoy one another, enjoy our relationship with him, enjoy serving him together, and all of that should be encompassed in our marriages. And so yeah.
You know, and baby, I think another area that we build walls. I'm just speaking from a personal place, is rejection. because we look at our past experiences and past relationships, how we've been dealt with in those things, and we bring it into our marriage. We haven't been delivered from those things. So what happens is that now you don't trust your partner. You say you trust her,
Mm-hmm.
or you say you trust him, but you don't trust them to the point, say 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You might trust them 80%, but the other 20% you hold back in your pocket and say, because I done went through this here before, I done been rejected before, I done been used before, I done had this here happen to me before. So you know what? I trust her, I trust him, but let me keep this here in my pocket right now. Let me hold on this 20%. So when the fall comes, it won't hurt as bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another wall that we build. And that's a sad thing, when you can't trust your spouse. You can't put 100% into your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put 100% into your trust and your faith in God, because that's the key. When we love the Lord as we need to love Him, and spend the time with Him and submit ourselves unto Him, then the trust in our marriages can be built. But until we do that, if we try to lean into our own flesh and our own understanding and the old things that we have went through and all that, then we don't trust God. I don't care how much you say it out your mouth, because your mouth can say anything. And it causes our relationships to be stagnant, to be like the seesaw, up today, down tomorrow. And I think that's another thing. We cannot bring old rejections and old things that we dealt with other individuals and other relationships into our marriage, because what it does, it hinders it. It really hinders the marriage, and it causes us to constantly put some more bricks on the wall. Put some more bricks on the wall. And I'm thankful. I mean, my wife and I, we done went through a lot of stuff. And I mean, I'm just being real about it. We talked about it before. But those things cause us to do what? To tear down the walls. A lot of times people say, well, I went through all of that stuff. Man, I wouldn't have nothing to do with her. I wouldn't have nothing to do with him, and I'll build another wall. But those things, because we trusted God, we trusted God. We took those things to the Lord. It caused us to tear, instead of building bricks, it caused us to tear down bricks, tear down bricks, tear down bricks. Whereas there isn't a wall, and we can see each other clearly. We can talk to each other, honestly. We can do the things that need to be done in our relationship, whether we like them or not. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm aggravating unto my wife. Am I? Oh, I should have said that. See that? But what I'm saying, sometimes I am, and I know I am.
See? Y'all heard it. Y'all heard him confess. He does this on purpose sometimes. I'm glad y'all know that. Okay, you keep going.
Did I say that?
They heard you.
What you talking about, Willis? Yeah, but sometimes I know I am, because I love her so much, because the areas that I was being rejected in my life in the past ain't there with her. And I love her so much, and I know that, she has her own way. I have my own way. And sometimes I have a tendency to kind of, what do you call it? Poke the bear.
Praise the Lord for the truth.
Poke the bear.
Praise the Lord.
But even when we poking the bear, she still loves the brother. And that's what matters to me.
Yeah.
I love you,
that's
boy.
what matters. That's what matters.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
That's all I have. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing else. I gotta drink some water. My mouth dry.
Mouth dry from telling. Anyway. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed this broadcast. We hope y'all enjoyed this broadcast. We just want to come on and share some things with you.
That's what I'm talking about. You talk about your husband in any kind of way. You just tell America, you tell the whole world.
You always tell it on me.
Oh, she said my mouth dry from telling. It might be.
But we just pray that you all enjoyed this. But as we said, just be sure that you take the time to be there for each other. Hey, Brother Zach,
Exactly.
take that time to really love on each other and to be honest and open. Learn to do that in your relationships up front. If you're dating somebody, go ahead and be honest up front. Don't lie and hide stuff. go ahead and tell them what the deal is, so they'll have the choice as to whether they want to deal with this or not. So it's best to do that, so you don't have to worry about nothing coming up later on, or this and that and the third, because it's a lot of haters out there. So you got to go ahead and hit that off
Yes,
at the
Lord.
pass. And
Yeah.
so we just want you all to be to that place where you're not afraid to be open and honest, and that you'll be willing to tear down that wall so that you can love and be loved the way
Mm.
you deserve to be loved. So we are out of here.
Yeah, it's time to go. What we gonna do this evening anyway, baby?
What we always do. Well, y'all be blessed.
What we gonna do today, Pinky?
Yeah.
The same thing. The same thing we always do. We're gonna take over the world. That's what that thing said, right?
Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, I love you. I love you, baby.
Bye.
Bye bye.